good, Journey fam? I am back. Woo woo. What's up, y'all? I'm so glad to be back before y'all. Listen, she just got her voice back. She just got it back, y'all. We've been over here sucking on these hauls, but we just got our voice back. We were Luther Vandross for about 2 weeks. Yeah. So anyways, we are back, and what are we talking about today? We're talking about finding the right loctician. I get lots of comments on this in my inbox on Instagram, and even when I do my videos on here, it is one of the #1 topics outside of do I want to get locks. So I just want to tell you about the things that I have learned over the years, the last few years of me having locks, and my struggles with finding the right loctician, things I wish I had thought about beforehand, things that I wish I had known when picking the right loctician. I just want to help some of you who are in that exploratory stage of like, I think I kind of want to get locks and thinking about getting them, all the way to the person who's like, I'm absolutely going to get them. I just don't know yet who I'm going to get to do them. So I have my phone, so you know, if you see me looking down, it's my notes that I'm kind of looking at, that I've kind of put together. So we're going to be talking about finding the right loctician, how to find the right loctician, the things you want to look for when you are searching for your loctician, things you want to look out for, and things you should expect when getting your first lockdown of your locks, because I did not know and she got duped. We did not know, and I got ripped off. So and yeah, just kind of like your rights within the rights that you have while getting locked up. I know that kind of sounds funny, but we'll explain it. We'll go into it. So anyways, welcome. We're going to go through that. Before we get started, the scent of the day, because you know I believe in smelling good and looking good, y'all. I have signed up with Scentbox, and you can sign up for them and pick different perfumes to try. And it comes in this cute little decanter. It tells you on the bottom the scent of the fragrance that you picked. This is cocoa vanilla by Mancera, I think. Smells super good. To me, honey, when you locked up and you looking good, you gotta smell good too. So always gonna drop the scent of the day. So there's that. So let's get into it. Okay, beauties and gents, let's get into this thing. First things first is, how, Tiffany, do we even find the right loctician? Now, that can come in many forms. Sometimes because so many people are getting locked up, you can stop somebody in the street, you can stop somebody in a store. Maybe you have somebody that is already a family member that's locked up. You can simply stop them if you like how their locks look and say, hey, who do you use? I get stopped 1 million times when I go out somewhere. It is both a compliment and an annoyance sometimes, but nevertheless, it is definitely more of a compliment than anything, guys. So do not be afraid to stop somebody and be like, hey, I love your locks. Who does them? Especially because if you're stopping them, most likely they're from your area, and so is that loctician. So that is a good way to find a loctician. I have done that many times. Sometimes I get lucky and find someone, but most of the time people are from other areas, and that's okay too. But the #1 spot you want to start at, outside of people that you can kind of find anywhere, is the Sister Loc website. So I believe, and it will be up on the screen, it is sisterloc.com. You go to the website, you find the city or state that you're in, it will pop up everybody that's registered. Now, that does not mean that that is everybody that does it in your city. They actually have to pay to be on this registered website, and some people are, I'm just gonna say it, too lazy to do it, don't want to spend the money to do it. But for those professionals that want to be seen specifically for this, they have paid to put themselves on the website. So you can go to your state, city and state, or you can go to the one nearest you. So I'm in Tyler. Dallas is the nearest area to me, the Metroplex area. So Dallas, Fort Worth, Irving, Arlington, all of those. So I can look there, which I have. I traveled for about a year. If you've watched any of my other videos, I traveled for about a year going back and forth to Dallas to a young lady that was there, because my area is just not stocked with people who are really good at it, or full service people. So I did travel for about a year, and probably will get ready to start traveling again here soon, just because I've been doing them and maintaining them at home lately, and I need somebody to kind of like clean up my grid for me. So do not be afraid to look at your nearest city near you, especially if you're in a smaller town like me, where there's not a whole lot of them, or there are some, but you're not really feeling them. Go to the state or city hopefully nearest you. So I'll put that on the screen so you can kind of see how you actually go through and click through, because at first sometimes it can be a little bit confusing. But yeah, that is the simplest way, guys. So that is the number one thing you want to do, is find out where the people are in your area. Okay, and then once you find them, it is time to start researching them, and we'll get into that a little bit later. So that's number one. Okay, y'all. So the next thing we're going to talk about is, what do you want? What do you want? I know that's a weird question in regards to finding the right loctician, but no, it's a real thing. What are you looking for? Okay, so basically that is full service versus just getting locked. Two totally different things. Something that I truly did not think about when I was getting locked up was, what do I really want? What am I really looking for? At the time, it was COVID, and I was like, listen, I just want somebody to lock it up. I don't need all that, like, you know, butterflies and rainbows. I just need a locking up. I was wrong. If I could have gone back and told myself what I needed back then that I know I need now, I would have said full service. Case in point, I thought to myself, I can wash my own head. I don't need nobody to pay to wash my hair. I need to just pay this 100 or this hot 120, 140, whatever they're going to charge, because it's already a lot, and go on about my business. But as I have gotten more matured, my locks have gotten longer, heavier, soap gets stuck in them more. I wish that I could have somebody else just wash it for me and lock it up then. Also, when it comes to self-care, I'm a big advocate for self-care. I am a therapist, so that's kind of what I do. And so I have to practice what I preach, right? And so in my head, I'm like, I wish I could take a self-care day, go get my hair washed and moisturized, and and then locked up, and everything's done for me, and I don't have to do any of it. If you're a busy person, you're a mom, you have a career woman, any of that, you don't always have time or the energy to want to wash your own hair. And so while then that was kind of what I needed, and I didn't really want the washing, I wish I had gotten it, just so later my future self could have enjoyed that. And I didn't have that. So when I wanted it, I was frustrated, feeling like, okay, this girl has good prices and it's quick, but she's literally locking and going. So you need to know what is it that you're looking for before you start researching on that Sister Loc website. You need to know before you start researching, so you know what you're researching, right? So do you want full service? That means, do you want to go in? Do you want to be able to get your hair washed, conditioned, locked, moisturized, all of that? Do you want the experience? I had one lady where I would go in, she was throwed off, y'all. Throwed off. That's the one that was cutting my locks. If you've watched any of my other videos where I'm talking about the lady that was cutting my hair, not telling me, the one thing that I can say about her is, anytime I left her shop or her home, because at one point she had transitioned to her home, I felt like I walked out of a salon. I felt and smelled like I had walked out of a salon. Like, that is what I prefer. Some people don't prefer that, but that is what I preferred. So she got done, and it wasn't just a lock up and shoo you out. She was oiling your scalp and massaging it in, and spraying and spritzing stuff and spraying, and you got up smelling like you literally just walked out and had a whole hairstyle done, and all I did was had it laid over to the side, honey, like it was a press and go. But I felt like my hair had been truly cared for. But when I came back to home base, because she was in Dallas and she had been cutting my locks, I'm like, now I gotta start over, and I just need to find somebody. The young lady here, all she was about was locking you up and going. That's it. You ain't getting no special treatment. You're not getting no oils. You're not getting no nothing, honey. She about to lock you up for whatever little length of time it takes, and she was pretty quick, and then send you on your way. So what are you looking for? You need to know that, so that when you're looking through this list of people and you're researching them, you know who you are choosing out of those, and who you're automatically like, nope, because that's not what I want, whether it's full service or not. And that is your choice. Just know what you want and what you need. That's important. Okay. All right, on to the next thing. Okay, guys, next is Research and interviewing. I know that sounds funny because you're like, interviewing, girl, this ain't no job. It is a job for who's going to do your hair and who's going to do the best job on your hair. You are interviewing them, guys, no different than they're probably low-key interviewing if they want to take you on as a client. And anybody who's a professional is not going to have a problem with you kind of asking them questions about their technique, their style, their rules, or any of that stuff, right? If you get pushback in the attitude, that's probably not the right one for you, honey, because if you come into like a situation or scenario or needing to cancel or reschedule, you might kind of get that same attitude and persona back later on. So you want to be very cognizant of like, how is this person reacting to the things that I'm asking them, or the questions or the inquiries? Are they responding back? Are they not? Are they responding back in a timely manner, or are they not? Are they being rude and just being like, read the website, it's there? Like, you want to pay attention to all of those things. So something I didn't mention in the last one that I wanted to mention now, quick 2.5. When you are thinking about what you need and what you want, and you're doing this research and this interviewing, if you have sister locks, one of the main things you want to pay attention to that I did not, it was an epic fail, but I didn't know. Does the person that's locking you up care anything about your grid? Now, those who have sister locks will know exactly what I'm talking about. Micro locks, two-strand twists, all of those, y'all, I don't really know a whole lot about them because I don't have them. Okay, and I don't really do research on them because I don't have them. But I think micro locks is kind of really close to sister locks where the grid is kind of intact as well. So it's kind of probably goes for you as well. But for sister locks, the grid is everything. If you look at anybody's page, they lifting up the locks, showing the grid. You know, it's all about the grid. If you get the wrong loctician, honey, they about to jack your grid all the way up from the flow up. Do you hear me? It matters. It mattered to me, and I asked about it, but I didn't take heed when the girl didn't care about it. The girl, the woman, the other woman, like the only person that cared was that throw it off one that was cutting my hair. Like, y'all, she was a whole thing. But you want to pay attention to that. Do they care about the grid and you have sister locks, or are they locking and going? If not, what I had happening was, so when my daughter would go through my hair, when I would come back and help me grease my scalp because they didn't care nothing about moisturizing, we would find a lock here connected all the way to a lock way up here. Why? Why? That don't even make no sense. And then I would go in and I would say like, hey, you know, I'm really worried about my grid. It seems to be kind of like getting a little off, you know, can you straighten it? And I had the little young girl was like, oh, well, yeah, the grid don't really matter. It don't really matter. Like, I don't really pay that much attention to my grid and all these things. Like, basically let me know she ain't finna do nothing with the grid. Then the lady in Dallas, I would say something about like, I feel like my grid is off. Like, can you straighten it? Because I never felt anybody parting. I never felt anybody like doing anything with the rat tooth combs, or if they did pop something, it was just like the connectors, but not really straightening anything ever. And she was just like, oh no, your grid's fine. You know, it ain't to me. I wanted my grid to be crisp and stay connected. So again, I'm telling you to make sure that you kind of ask about their grid work. Like, hey, do you do like corrective grid work? Do you like care about keeping the grid intact? Is that something important to you? Make sure that you are asking those important questions because they are important. So yeah. Now, traditional locks, not so much, because I know that is sometimes more of a grab and go, unless you have the triangles put in there or the specific squares, which then you would also want to say like, I do care about my squares and my triangles or whatever shape you get in there staying intact. Is that something that you like can maintain? So make sure you're asking the questions. All right. So when you go to the Sister Loc website and you are clicking on these people, make sure you go and research them. Research them. Do not just go off of their comments on their pages that are copy and pasted. And some of them are legit. But what about, have you ever gone somewhere and be like, man, I don't see not one bad comment, not one off comment. Oh, this must be really good. Let me tell you, on their websites, even on Facebook, they can take those comments off of there. I know because I've had somebody do it. I went and left a comment on her website because she was really jacking around and lying to me and misleading me, and then basically just ghosted me. And so it was unprofessional to me, and her website was so nice that I was like, this is so weird for somebody to have such a professional setup and website and then totally act weird later on. So I go and I leave a comment on her website, it gets deleted. I go to Facebook and leave a comment, it gets deleted. Guess where they can't delete it from though? Google. They can't remove nothing from Google. They can respond, but they cannot remove it. So go and Google these people and look for Google reviews, or like those style seat reviews, or anything where they have no control over what's being left there. Go there and read up on these people and make sure that they're legit and professional, because people like me who are reviewers will get on there and tell you exactly whether it's really good, really bad, or in between. Okay, you want to put your hair in the hands of somebody that's going to care. So make sure you're doing your due diligence and research them, click on them, look at photos. I've been able to tell y'all that I didn't want some people just by looking at their photos, because I'm like, that looks sloppy, that look like they don't care, or that doesn't really look like I would want my hair to be kept up. So do look at photos and reviews. Make sure you do both of those before you call or message and inquire about their openings and their style and all the things. Okay, so there's that. Okay guys, the next thing you want to think about when you're choosing your loctician, and let's say maybe you have already talked to them and you're already, scheduled and you're going in. Do they do the things when you read on the Sister Loc website that it says they're supposed to do? So like, you're supposed to get, I'm gonna have to look it up, y'all, and I'll put it on the screen. But I want to say 6 to 8, and it may be more, maybe less, I don't know, I'll put it up there, tester locks in your hair. So they're supposed to take like a corner of your hair and do some different tester locks using different rotations to see which one will be best for your hair. It's so exciting when you first get those, right? Because that is the beginning of getting ready to get your locks. And so you can feel them in your hair and see them. But some people skip that and don't do that. You're supposed to be able to go with them and have a consult. Sometimes the consults cost and sometimes they're free. It just depends on the person, y'all, and they get to make the rules, unfortunately. So, but time is money, and so for some people they capitalize off of that. I don't know, but you should be able to go and have a consult with them, and that is when you want to have your questions. Use the notes on your phone and make a list of questions that you have that we're talking about right now, and like ask all that's your opportunity to ask all the things you want to ask without them being like, without you feeling like you're being annoying or doing too much or them being bothered. Like, that is the time. Even over like emailing, you want to wait till you go to the consult, because that's when you're supposed to ask all the questions, especially if you're paying for it, honey. Because listen, if I'm paying my coin, I'm asking you everything I want to ask you. Okay. But yeah, make sure you have your list and ask all the questions then, y'all. So the tester locks are supposed to be done, and then when you go for your first consult, you are supposed to get a kit, and I will show you the kit. I think I've talked about this before, and I may have talked about it on Instagram, I don't know, but you're supposed to get a starter kit from them once you finish your install. She didn't get it. She didn't get it. I was told by mine, oh, you can buy it. You can buy my starter kit that I put together for you. But I didn't get the starter kit. You are supposed to get a starter kit when you get your install. So you do want to ask when you're doing your research interview, do you provide the Sister Loc starter kit for your clients, or any kind of starter kit for your clients? Because that kind of gets you started, and then you can go from there and get more if you need it. There are other things you can use outside of the product starter kit products, but I'm just saying, if you're gonna go pay, because now I think the prices have like, I don't want to say doubled, but like gone up significantly for installs, because it's people's time and they can do that. So if you're gonna pay a G or more for some locks, honey, you better get what you're supposed to be getting with that. So make sure you're asking about that. Make sure that they're doing the tester locks in your hair, so you can get all excited. And also, it's more importantly is to see which direction your hair likes to coil, so they know what's going to be working best for your hair texture and style. That is the main reason for that. I am a 4-point rotation. I don't even know what that means, but I know that that's what I am, and it helps lock up better. But for some people, they don't need that, and some people need, you know, less or more, whatever. So do make sure that you are getting what you're supposed to be getting. Do your research, do your homework outside of this video on your own of like, what all am I supposed to be getting? What is it supposed to look and feel like? What are their rules and all of that stuff, so that there's no communication glitches. Okay, so there is that. Okay guys, another thing you want to make sure that you look for when you're picking out the right loctician is someone who can repair locks. So we have somebody who can wash and condition if you want it, somebody who can lock up, someone who's going to all the things. But if you don't have somebody who can repair, what happens when this happens? Then what? How we gonna put it back on, y'all? Cause she ain't on no more. So you want somebody who's going to be able to, when this happens, because it happens, it's so sad, but it happens. You want somebody who's going to be able to, no problem, put it back on for you. Okay. And so I did not even think about that. You couldn't have told me in a million years this was going to happen to me. And so when picking somebody, I never even thought about it. And y'all, even the person that I thought I had found in Dallas, who her website clearly even has prices and says that she does it, when I went to get it done and I took one, this wasn't the one. I had lost a smaller one back in the day that was probably about like maybe like that long. That was back in the back of my hair when I first started. I took it to her, and homegirl took it and looked at it and set it over on the windowsill and proceeded to continue locking. I don't even know what a lock is. In the trash, I'm sure. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe if you can look on the website and see evidence of where they have done repairs, that would probably be a good way to research that. As well as upfront asking, like, do you repair broken locks or stretched out locks or thinning locks? If a lock falls off, do you repair it? And ask for pictures, ask for photos. So, because I have not found anyone here, and then when I did find someone, she didn't do it. So you don't want this to be sitting around like this when you could find somebody who could put it back on. So do make sure that you're very aware of that, because it does happen. It does. Some people know how to do it themselves. I am not that girl. And so I don't want to mess nothing up and be looking over there looking crazy. So that's something else to kind of be aware of when you are searching for the right person. Okay, ladies and gents, so we have gone to the website and we've researched and interviewed, and we've made our first appointment, and we have gotten our tester locks, and we've gone and made the appointment to go, and we've gone and all the things. You need to make sure that the person that you have respects your wishes. If you watch any of my other videos, you've already heard my story times about all the craziness I've had going on with people in my hair, and cutting and combining and doing crap that they didn't have permission to be doing because it's my head and not theirs. I go in when I meet a person saying, please do not combine or cut any of my locks unless you have talked to me about it first. And I've had to do that because I've had that done, thinking that nobody in their right damn mind would be doing something to my head without telling me, and they were. And so I always preface with, hey, not trying to be rude or any of that or disrespectful, but if you see something that needs to be repaired, fixed, combined, done, anything in my head, please let me know. I want to make that decision myself. And I do go in saying just that. So I am telling you to make sure you find someone who's not going to give you attitude or pushback for that. Again, if they do, she ain't the one. She, he, because I do know a couple of he's, interestingly enough, they're not the one. They're not the one. So, yeah, not combining, not cutting without permission. If you're a tender-headed girl like me, because she is 40 years old and very tender-headed still. It is crazy, y'all. But also, if you've watched my other videos, then you know I also had the tension alopecia around the sides. And while it has done a great job growing back, I don't know if it's going to be a forever thing. It feels like it, because this is like years later, and still in those areas it is so tender. And the little girl that was doing my hair, the one that just locks and goes, she knew why I had those bald spots. She saw me when I very first got it done, and I would tell her, like, it's still very tender, honey. She would still be just roughly going through there. First of all, the strands are probably like a little bit of nothing, and also I'm tender-headed, and I let her know that, and she didn't care. I would be over there about to come unglued in the chair, and she never would lighten up her hand. And so I learned from that to never go with somebody who don't care enough about, one, your hair, because that can't be good for your hair to be being that rough, and two, about their client to not be like, oh, hey, this is hurting her, let me just take my time. You can't help that it's gonna hurt, but you can take your time and be a little more gentler and not be so rough. And so do make sure, if you're tender-headed like me, that you do let that be known and see how they respect that, because that does need to be part of the, like, do they respect me as a client? Listen, y'all are paying for this, and probably a lot more now than it ever has been, because everything has gone up and everybody has gone up. So you're paying for this person's lifestyle and this person's everything. Like, you are a customer, a paying customer. You're helping pay to fund their lifestyle. You do have a right to say, like, I don't like that. That doesn't feel good. Ooh, that hurts. Like, could you not do this? I mean, you don't want to be nitpicky, of course, but you also don't want to not express how you feel about things, or things that you want, or things that are important to you. Again, I go in like, I don't want this or that. Is that okay with you? And if they were to tell me no, I would get my happy black self up and walk on out the door, because I am paying you $100-something to do my hair in the way that I desire for it to be done. So do not be afraid to do that. Okay? All right. So making sure that you get someone who's going to respect you, respect your wishes, and respect your concerns is super duper important. Okay, ladies and gents, beauties and gents, that is it for today. I hope that this has helped you in some way, guys. I wish that I had known some of this. I felt very lost. I've learned a lot of things through trial and error, and so has my hair, unfortunately, and it's cost me. It's cost me sometimes quite a bit. My hair is not as I wish it was, because it's been through the trials and tribulations with me, because I had no guidance. And so, guys, I love all of your comments. I am here for it. I eat it up, and I literally enjoy reading them, and I love them. I'm so glad that I'm able to give value to you guys and help you guys out in this capacity, this platform. I'm glad that I could give to people what I didn't have and what I couldn't find. There's so many Sister Loc videos out there these days, but I do hope that I'll bring something different to the table for you guys. I hope this helps you, especially those that are thinking about getting locks, particularly Sister Locs, but any kind of locks. I mean, this is not just for Sister Locs. This is for any kind of lock. The grid is specific to Sister Locs, but the technique and all of that can go across any lock span. So please take that with a grain of salt, because this is for locks in general. I just happen to have Sister Locs, so I know more about them, and this Sister Loc website is specific to Sister Locs. But all the other things, as far as researching and Googling and, you know, finding somebody who respects you and respects your hair and all those, that is not specific to Sister Locs. That is, I don't care if you had straight hair, that is for anybody that's going and paying good money for a service. You need to be researching these people and looking them up and interviewing them and talking to them, asking for social media and looking for pictures and looking, because I have literally X'd off some people just off their photos. And so do your due diligence so you have the best case scenario. A lot of you guys are researching in the research phase. I see you down in the comments. So I do hope that this has helped you even a little bit more. Make sure you're getting what you're supposed to be getting when you get those installs, because you're paying good money for it, but it is worth it, guys. In the long run, that money is worth it if you can find the right person for you. Picking a loctician, honey, is about like picking the right man, child. It is a whole ordeal, okay? And some people get lucky the first time, and you get the lock soulmate of your life. And some of us be out here still swinging and banging, trying to figure it out, child. I don't know, but you know, it is what it is, and we make it through. And so, and don't be afraid to travel. If you can't find somebody in your area, don't be afraid to travel, and don't put up with crap just because you don't want to kind of drive a little bit. I was driving for a little bit over a year, and had she honored the fact that I was a traveling client of hers, always on time, always tipping, she wouldn't work with me on like when I wanted to schedule. I needed to come on Saturdays because I work Monday through Friday, and I'm 2.5 hours away from you. I probably would have still been going to her, even though she didn't repair my lock, but I liked, you know, how she was locking it, so I would have. So don't be afraid to drive a little bit to find the right person, especially those in small areas. Do stop people in the store and ask them, hey, who does your locks? That's how some of my followers have become my followers. People stopping me in Target and Walmart and all these places and asking me about my hair. Even gas stations. A male lady stopped me at a gas station not too long ago and flagged me down. So don't be afraid to say, hey, I love your locks. Who does them? And then writing it down and going to their website, their Instagram or whatever, and doing your research and looking them up and seeing if you like them, and then calling and asking. So, all right, guys, I hope this video has helped you. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. We're almost to 1,000. And when we get there, I have a nice little basket that I'm going to send out to somebody with all kinds of little goodies. I meant to have it in my hand and show y'all, but she over there somewhere and I ain't gonna get up and go get it. So I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I love each and every one of my Journey fam. Y'all are so special to me. To my guests, thanks for joining me today. If you guys have like joined a couple of videos, you might consider subscribing if this is your thing. I do a little bit of everything on this channel, but locks is definitely something I will continue to do over the lifespan of the channel. So I am so grateful to each and every one of you that stuck around with me, that continue to learn, that jump down in the comments and let me know a little bit about who you are and where you're from and what you like. I love hearing from you guys. So yeah, that's it for today. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.